Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War Scarlet Witch 6-inch scale figure. As a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as someone who likes to collect all the figures from those films, I really wanted to add Scarlet Witch to my collection. She's been pretty difficult to find. I haven't even seen her once in stores, but luckily a friend was able to get it for me on Amazon. And thanks to him, I have it in my collection and I'm able to review it for you. So looking at the packaging here, we have the Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War coloration to the standard Marvel Legends packaging. It's very basic, but it gets the job done and it looks good. On the side, you get a look at Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. Opposite side has a mirror image of that same portrait. And at the back, we get a look at the figure. It says, Wanda Maximoff casts hexes on her enemies as a mystical super being, Scarlet Witch. We get a look at the Build-A-Figure parts. It says you can build Abomination. I'm not too concerned about that. And then the other figures that are required in order to do that. At the top, you get the Captain America logo. And at the bottom, there's your barcode. Okay, so I'm pretty excited to get this one opened up. It's not very often we get female characters. The last one was Black Widow, and that was back during the Captain America Winter Soldier line. And then they repainted her for the Avengers Age of Ultron 4-pack we looked at last year. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and get her opened up. When we come back, we'll take a closer look and see what she's like. Alright, you guys, so looking at the figure itself, she has a very nice aesthetic. It does look really nice. It doesn't look a whole lot like Elizabeth Olsen, but it has a passing resemblance. Aesthetics are good. The overall physique of the figure looks good. I like how her jacket's kind of in this opened up position, which kind of does help with posability and also just makes it look a little more dramatic. She's got a good little bit of articulation and comes with a couple of blast effect accessories. Going to give you a close-up here of the figure. And like I said, it doesn't really look like the actress. I mean, maybe a passing resemblance to her. I kind of feel like from the angle, like here, like it kind of looks a little bit like her, but when you look at it dead on, it doesn't really look like her all that much. But kind of from here, it sort of does. I don't know, the face is a little too angular. I think it needs to be a little more round, maybe. It also looks like she's older than the actress would be, so it's not perfect, but, you know, a few tweaks, it would look a lot better. But as far as how it looks, I mean, it looks decent, and the paint is actually really nicely applied. The eyes look good. They're kind of like a greenish sort of color. Eyebrows look decent. She's got some lipstick, some blush on her cheeks. It might be a little bit overdone, but it's not too bad. The hair sculpted pretty decently. It's not too, like, finely textured. I mean, it looks a little more clumpy. But I mean, it works. At a figure from Hasbro at the scale, I mean, it works. Coloration goes, it's brown, but there are some other colors mixed in there. Like you can see some darker streaks in there. It's got a dark wash to it, which looks pretty nice. Skin tone is pretty good. She's got a necklace. She's got her corset underneath her jacket, and the jacket itself is a separate sculpted piece. And I like the way that the corset looks. It's got some nice detail to it. So does the outer jacket. I really like that, like how it has all this texturing going on in it. It looks nice. I really like what they did here. Arms look good. You can see it's not just red. There's a little bit of like darker sort of coloring there as well, more of a maroon sort of color. And here she's got these little gloves and some rings on both of her hands. And looks good. The pants are basically just black, nothing too special, but they're decently sculpted. Boots look nice, same exact shade of black. And underneath her robe, that's kind of what you're getting in there. Not a whole lot to see. And then from the bottom, she's got these low heels as well as peg holes, so not bad. Now, in the way of articulation, for the head, you're not going to get a whole lot of movement because of the hair. It does restrict it, but it's not too hard. It is pliable, so you can turn it, which is nice. I would be kind of concerned, though, if I kept the head turned for too long. Maybe the hair would start to warp or something. I don't know. But, you know, you can move it, which is nice. You do get ball joints at both of these shoulders, and they move very nicely. Ball joints at both of the elbows, bends and swivels at both of the wrists. The left hand goes side to side, and then the right hand goes up and down. I kind of wish that they both went up and down, but it is what it is. She has a ball joint here at the upper torso, so you can kind of move her like that. You get ball hinging at both of the hips. She doesn't do a perfect split. It is partly obscured because of the jacket, but even so, not counting the jacket, it still doesn't get a full split. You do get swivels at both of the thighs. You get double bends at both of the knees, and then you get ball hinging at both of the ankles along with rocker pivots. So overall, she is nicely articulated. I don't have any issues with the articulation. In the way of accessories, you get these two blast effects, and they're supposed to kind of just look like the magic sort of thing that she does. And they look decent enough. I mean, they're kind of like this slightly translucent sort of red coloring, and they're not identical. They are slightly different. And you can see there's a little bit of like a darker coloring like along the sides. It's not too bad. I mean, I don't think it's the best looking sort of effect, but they seem to have gotten the color right and they look decent enough. It is a little bit awkward getting them on her hands because you basically just shove her hands in there and you kind of got to line it up, which is a little bit tricky. Or you can just go for it like this and just kind of put her hands in it. And I mean, I guess it looks all right. Like I said, with this right hand, you can move them up and down at the wrist. And that looks pretty good like that. But with the left, it's going to go in the same exact way. You just kind of wing it and stick them in there. Because well, we didn't really get it right, but there we go. Once we get it in, she doesn't go up and down at the wrist. So you can only go like side to side. So you can't really replicate the same look that you have in the right hand with the left hand. So that's kind of a bummer. I don't really like that, but that's the way they chose to join it for some reason. So that's the way that it is. But the overall aesthetic of her holding the blast effects is pretty nice in any case. Another thing I don't really like a whole lot is that she is kind of gummy feeling, like her legs are a little bit rubbery, and that's nothing really new. We see this sometimes on Marvel Legends and even with Star Wars 6-inch Black series. It's just kind of a bit of a shame because, I don't know, it just kind of gives it a cheap sort of feel. You also get the Build-A-Figure head for Abomination, and it actually looks pretty good. It's painted pretty nicely, but it is this very like soft, rubbery sort of plastic, and it doesn't have any articulation or any articulated jaw, but because of how soft it is, you can kind of, move the mouth like that. I don't have any plans to build this figure, so it's not really that important to me, but if it's important to you, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Captain America Civil War Scarlet Witch 6-inch scale figure. On the whole, I think it's a pretty nice figure. Although the likeness isn't the best, it still looks good and it's painted pretty nicely. I really do like the costume. I like the jacket. It's very nicely textured, very nicely colored, as is the corset. The pants look pretty good, the boots look pretty good, and she's nicely articulated for the most part. The blast effects look decent. They're not the best, but they definitely get the job done. And it is a little awkward getting them onto her hands. And not the best overall aesthetic. I think if they found a way to maybe give her interchangeable hands that had permanently attached blast effects, that probably would have given us the best overall aesthetic results. They didn't do that, so we got to make do with what we got, and what we got is pretty good. For the most part, it's a nice figure. If you're collecting the Marvel Legends figures based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then I think this is definitely one you need to add to your collection. I'm happy with the figure. There are a few nitpicks I have with it, but by and large, it's a solid figure. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if so, please give us a like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.